today while my heart is ready. Today while it's in my grasp. If I start out slowly, I'm confident knowing I'm still on my way. Why not today?
Welcome to the Why Not Today show with Eric Dodge and Laurel Dodge, where we're working together to find hope, health, and happiness. How are you today, Laurel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Today we've got some great things to talk about. We're going to talk about vacations and trips. One of the suggestions we had was to talk about family vacations and things like that. So really excited to get into that today. We have a lot of things to cover. One of the things I wanted to say very first off is we have got a few emails in about our podcast. Did you know we have a podcast?
I learned that today.
We have a podcast, and we have some amazing artwork that just got uploaded. We had
It's
some
beautiful.
Alexis helped us, and Dagan helped us, and Emily helped us, and I added some things to it, and iTunes finally accepted it, as well as Google Play and Spotify. So if you have a podcasting platform you like to listen to, please subscribe and please download. We're picking up downloads, we're picking up viewers, and we're getting some reviews and some 5-star ratings, which I'm happy about. And I wonder if I could turn that, mute that so that doesn't come through. And you can still hear me, hopefully. But
Can you still hear us?
I don't know why there's a spinny wheel. Okay. Anyway, seems to be working again. We'll just let the little alerts go because that was the next thing I wanted to touch on. Our podcast is recorded live. Many, many people, they get together and they do their podcasts and they go and they spend hours and hours editing and clipping and cutting and adding this and that. Ours is live. So you get the mistakes, the glitches, the
coughs, the sniffles,
asthma things,
the dog allergies.
the Eric busting out swear words on the fly and things like that. So our podcast is live and wild and crazy.
Oh, dear. With your mother here, how can it be wild and crazy?
We're going to start hosting the After Hours Why Not Today show that will be done in the evenings.
Without Mama around?
We'll bring in...
Well, maybe Mama could be the star.
Mama could be the star.
And you're not around. Oh, that would be scary.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I got a request for a school assembly. And they would like to talk about bullying and also drug addictions and things. So maybe we can work together on that one and do that. So we do assemblies. We do concerts and all kinds of things. So make sure you hit up our management if you're interested in any of those events. And the last thing before we get into the show is this is the last 90 days of the year. And a lot of my friends and family and fans follow Dave and Rachel Hollis. And they do a very big deal for the last 90 days. And the last 90 days gives you 90 days until New Year's Day. And you've got 90 days to make some big changes. And they have this 5 to Thrive program. I can't do 5. That's too many for me. Just do 3 is my thing. So it's like maybe 3. 3 is about the most that they say the 3 goals and the 3. Most people can only do things in 3s. So I pick 3. And one of mine is to lose weight. So in order to lose weight, I've reduced a couple of things that I normally go to at the grocery stores. And I also am doing their gratitude in the mornings. They talk about gratitude. And so every day you get up and you think about things you're grateful for and drinking more water. So those are the 3 that I have chose. More water, being grateful, and losing weight over the last 90 days. Those are the 3 things that I feel like will change my life the most. So any of you who want to join along, just pick some things you want to do over the next 90 days to improve your life. So when you walk out the door on January 1st, you feel like you've accomplished something in these last 90 days of 2019.
Can I say something about that?
You can.
I personally would be better if I just focused on maybe one.
One thing, okay.
And there's nothing wrong with just doing one. And for me, when I was losing my weight, I had to start small and just do one goal at a time and kind of really work on that. So One is not bad.
Okay, right? That's true.
When I lost my weight, I would have to work on losing 10 pounds. I couldn't look at the whole picture.
Right.
It was too much.
Yeah, I could see that.
So the same thing with just focusing on one.
Yep,
I'm going to focus on one.
that's the thing. I mean,
Because that's how I need to do it for me. Find the way
right,
to do
and
it
they're
for
Five
you.
to Thrive. I like what they say. I like what they do, but it's a little overwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is just me because I have my own opinions. I believe that sets you up for failure when you have too many things. You're shooting the whole cannon approach at it. Five things is too much, and I'm going to stick with, my very basic is literally just to try to watch my calories and track my foods and lose a little weight each day. That's if I only do one thing, that's the one. And if I can do that for 90 days, my life will be drastically changed by doing one thing. So mine's the One to Thrive. I'm doing the One to Thrive 90-day challenge. So
I'm doing the One to Thrive. You said you were doing the 3.
Well, I do want to drink a little more water, and I do want to show more gratitude, which is something that I think helps everybody. And those are easy to do. So write down some things in your journal. So that's just how we're going to start our show today. The last 90 days begins right now. All of you listening on whatever platform you choose, whether it's YouTube or your podcast or here on Facebook, we've got 90 days. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about trips. Let's take a trip.
Go.
Let's take a trip. I'm
Let's
ready.
Go.
You know me. I'm ready. Also, at the end of our podcast today, we're going to allow for a few questions. So those of you who are in here and you have some questions, I'll say it's time to ask your questions, and we'll spend about 5 minutes doing a Q&A, and we're going to give that a try today. I've got an iPad set up over here where I can actually see you guys, and I can actually probably put it right here, and maybe we can, because it actually follows it in real time.
Now I have to put on my glasses.
No, maybe I can figure out how to.
No, it's fine.
To make that so we can see it better.
That
takes the comments away. So
it's fine.
All right.
We'll do it.
Trips. I get asked so many questions because I travel a lot. We travel a whole lot. And it's so funny about the strangest emails. I actually got an email yesterday from somebody who's on the Carnival Splendor boat right now with Lee, the cruise director. And Lee said hello because they saw that we went and they wanted to do what we did. And so they tried it and they're absolutely loving it. And they were in Cabo yesterday. Down in Mexico, and they were sitting on the shore, and they sent me a big thank you letter for the suggestions and how I helped them save money and things like that. That's not why I'm doing what I do, but I did originally start our Instagram page as a travel page, and so there's so much to it. There's so many loaded questions. So here's some of the questions that I get on a weekly basis. When we go to Hawaii, what island is the best? Always. Hey, I just saw you went on a cruise. What's the best cruise itinerary? Hey, what's the best cruise ship or best cruise line? I get that one all the time. What's the best airline? What app do you use to book your trips, and what's the best way to find the best deals, especially on flights, rental cars, hotels? And what's the best places to go? And these are questions that are so loaded. I mean, I can talk for hours on this because there's so many things you've got to sit down and write down on paper. What are your likes, okay? Because some people don't want to go to a hot, sandy beach. Some people want to go see the mountains and the glaciers. And maybe you want to go see some history over in Ireland or in England, or maybe you want to go to Africa or South America. There's all these different things that come into play. So first you got to ask yourself several questions. What's your interests? How much is your budget? And how important is it? Because sometimes, like obviously it would be cool to see the pyramids. I've never seen them, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to go over there. So I'm not going to go see the pyramids. Fine. It's not that important to me. One that is important to me is the Panama Canal, and I will get that done. I'm going to go see the Panama Canal. So, Yellowstone. I see a comment about Yellowstone. I was up there a few years ago. Yellowstone's gorgeous, especially this time of year. I was there about this exact same time. It's really pretty. As long as you're not in that big, huge, crazy snowstorm that just about destroyed everybody up there. I went to Montana at the very right time because the temperatures dropped and it became a snow place. And some people are into snow sports. If I was a skier and I skied every day and I snowboarded every day, and that was my favorite thing in the world, then I would live somewhere where I would like to be where there's snow.
Mhm.
I prefer outdoor activities that do not include snow. And so if you're a homebody or something like that, then it doesn't matter where you're at. But I appreciate the weather where I live because I can spend so much time outdoors during the winter. So let's talk about Hawaii. I'm just going to hit these pretty quick. What island? If you've never been to Hawaii, these are just my personal opinions. It's the busiest island, but you need to go to Oahu. That's because that's where Pearl Harbor is. That's where the Dole Pineapple Factory is. That's where Waikiki is.
The Polynesian Cultural
That's where the Polynesian Culture Center. That's where all of the things that you see Hawaii Five-O is filmed there. All the different things that are a tourist thing is on Oahu. That's where you go. If you're just looking to get away to a beautiful island and not be part of people and not see history and all that, then don't go to Oahu. It's very, very busy now. It's very crowded. I still love it there, but it gets a little frustrating when you see all the garbage and all the people and stuff like that. So it's one of my favorite islands, but it's been kind of destroyed over the last couple decades, and that's a sad thing. But I do love Oahu for that reason. I like things about Maui. I like things about Kauai. I like things about the Big Island. Some people hate the Big Island. I actually would put that as maybe my favorite in some ways, even though it rains a lot. It has a lot of ecosystems and fun things.
It does. A lot of jungle area.
It's very primitive, and the volcanoes and things like that.
But you also can go to the other side of the island, and then you're on the beaches. And
there's not a lot of beaches
over
on that island. There was
on the
there,
Kona side.
the
But
Kona-
they were
there
black lava
was.
beaches.
Man, they had the best fish and chips, though.
Oh, they did. Oh,
Let's
go
go.
back.
Should we just go get some fish and chips? I love their fish
oh
and
my
chips.
gosh.
The next question I get is what cruise itinerary? Man, there is 1,000 of them. I've been to 4 different Caribbean cruises, Alaskan, 5 different Mexican cruises. You got to decide, what do you want to see? And what kind of weather do you want? And what kind of year is it? You know, they have great deals right now on Caribbean cruises, but guess what? You're most likely going to have a tropical storm or a hurricane. I don't go on Caribbean cruises until after December.
Watch the weather on all these cruises.
And I don't go on Mexican cruises until after December because they get the monsoons and the thunderstorms. And so there's different times of the year. Right now would be a great time for a Hawaiian cruise.
Also on your Mexican cruises, you don't want to go later in the summer because
Too
it's
hot.
so hot and the humidity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree.
May, June?
Maximum of May. I would say
It would be
if
too
you're not,
hot in May.
most cruise lines, in fact, every other cruise line except for Carnival pulls out of there in April.
And your the ships will kind of move around too.
They
So
do.
you'll know when you're getting into a not touristy time to go.
And there's so much to, and then what cruise ship is the one I get the most on. And as you can see, my cruise cards on the wall over there. I'm getting ready to go on number 10, my 10th cruise, several different boats. That's a very loaded question because I have never been on Disney, and I do that for a reason. Because they charge $1,000 to $2,000 more dollars to be walking around with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and I don't care about that. I'd rather save that money for excursions and port things. And I guess kids really love the Disney theme and the characters and things like that. But I could care less about the extra couple grand for that. And some cruise lines cater to solo travelers. Others do not. Some cruise lines cater to families. Some cruise lines cater to budgets. I've been on Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, and Princess, and I've liked things about all of them. And I'm not going to say anything bad about it because I've really enjoyed all of my cruises on all my cruise lines. Now, I will say Norwegian caters to solo travelers. They are the only cruise line that truly gives you a solo rate. Otherwise, you have to pay double. Now, I have seen Princess. I've seen Royal Caribbean do like a 50% reduction in a solo where you don't have to pay a two full people fare. Because if you book a room, they always give you a price per person. Now, when you go on Norwegian and you put down solo traveler, they actually have rooms set up just for one person. It's called a solo room, and they charge you a smaller price, and you don't have to pay double everything. And I like that their dining times are whenever you want. It's called freestyle cruising. You don't get assigned tables. There's just so much. I could go on forever about this, but Carnival is also my second favorite. or First Favorite, they kind of tie. They are cheaper.
Can I say something
Yeah.
about Carnival?
Yeah.
Carnival has the reputation of being a party boat, being
Right.
Rowdy and noisy. But you don't have to be in the middle of all that partying. There
No.
are so many things going on and quiet places. I like to go on a party boat because I can see things, I can hear things, and the
Oh,
music
they have a lot
and
of fun
stuff.
stuff. They do.
They have a lot of fun stuff. And I have seen no problem. I know the last one we booked, the lady was a little concerned, and because she saw my age.
Yeah.
And she asked you if that was going to be a problem because it was kind of a more active boat.
Okay. Yep.
And that made me feel bad that
Was
she
that
would
the-
even ask you that.
The Bliss.
No, it was we went down. I don't remember.
I don't
where
remember
it
which one it was either. The Bliss, I could see that because that's a mega ship. And the Bliss,
Was it the Bliss?
The Bliss has got 24 floors, and the stairs
No,
are huge.
they were concerned about the noise and the partying, and it might have been the room look.
Maybe.
No, it was
Maybe.
Carnival because we laughed about it.
Yeah,
It was when we
Maybe
took the whole
so.
family.
that's possible. A lot of you in our chat went with us on that Carnival cruise.
But I'm going for the fun.
I have actually
I'm
enjoyed
not
the
going
Carnival.
to sit in a corner and.
I just don't like how they charge double for the rooms, but sometimes their prices are low enough that works
Mhm.
out okay. Carnival's daily gratuities are cheaper. Their Wi-Fi package is cheaper. Their shore excursions are cheaper, and they allow you to bring on a 12-pack of soda or energy drinks at every port with no extra charge. That right there is humongous, and that was one of the things I got the email on yesterday. They are the only cruise ship that I've been on, Carnival. I've been on 3 different Carnival boats that allow you to bring on 12-pack of soda at every port. And if you want to go into Walmart and grab yourself some Diet Pepsi or Monster Energy drinks, it's wonderful. It's a neat thing. It's great. And money adds up on these types of trips. So
Can I talk again for just a moment?
on
every cruise line we've been on, if you're traveling with children, they have a teen club.
Mhm.
They have a day place.
Yep.
They, like the Carnival one was the Cat in the Hat was their theme, and they did things with the kids every
Sure.
day. You have to sign your kids up. There was no extra charge. Drop them off in the morning. They can eat their meals. They had green eggs and ham.
Yeah, they did.
Feast for the families to go to. You'd see the little kids parading through the boat, singing songs and dancing. There was one that was a pirate theme. And so of course, when you're in port, you have to take your kids with you.
Yeah.
But when you're not there and you're looking at those days and thinking, what am I going to do with my kids? I think Riker wasn't too, so he couldn't go in the
Right.
daycare, but they have a place where you can take the kids to play.
Sure.
They provide so much for those kids.
Yep.
Teen
They do.
clubs, competitions.
Ice cream machines.
Ice cream machines. They
Pizza
did
24/7.
scavenger hunts, and they were very safe, and you had to check them in and out, and very careful with the children. Okay,
And that's true. And they've all had those.
everyone.
There's definitely good and bad. And when I'm on the boats, it's fun to hear people. Every single one I've been on, and I've been on, 2 Royals, and people complain. When I was on Royal, I remember everybody, "Well, this is the worst cruise ship and boat and cruise line ever. I'm going to go back to Princess," and I've been on Princess. "This is the worst. I'm going back to Norwegian," or "I'm on Norwegian. This is the worst." And I think it's funny because I'll say, "Well, what's so bad about it?" Their food is horrible. And okay, they're serving 4,000 people. So yeah, the food isn't the fanciest, finest thing. You can go to some of the nicer restaurants and pay for an upgrade. I prefer the buffet foods. They taste fine to me. They're great. I'm not there to complain about food. I'm there to see the world. I'm there to enjoy my experience. So a lot of it does boil down to price for me.
Mhm.
And so my next trip will probably be either on the Norwegian Joy or the Carnival Panorama. I've been looking at both of those, and I'm waiting for deals and discounts, and I just watch for stuff. And that's, I've chosen cruises for the most part. I've traveled a lot of other ways, but cruises to me are great because I don't have to go to a grocery store. I don't have to cook my own meals. I don't have to stock up my pantries when I get there. I don't have to rent a car. I don't have to drive anywhere. Somebody cleans my room for me. and somebody cooks my meals for me. All I have to do is enjoy the sights and the ports and the countries. And I've been able to go to Honduras and Grand Caymans and all these wonderful, wonderful places by sleeping in a bed and waking up the next day and pulling into this port. And I've really enjoyed that part about cruises. But I know there's a lot of people that like to fly into their locations and they like to stay in resorts, and they're different. They're fine sitting on a beach 5 days of the week underneath an umbrella. That's not me. I can't do it. I got to go hiking. I got to go snorkeling. I got to go swimming. My lifestyle is much more active than sitting on a beach for 7 hours. And so it just depends on what you're looking for. There is all-inclusive resort travel, which is wonderful. Mm-hmm. I've done that down in Cabo also. People ask me what airline. That depends on what you want. Legroom is important for me. I'm a tall guy. I'm a big guy. There's only 2 airlines, Southwest and Alaskan, that have the legroom for someone like me in a normal, whatever you call it, not first class, but just economy seating. Everybody else has started to scrunch. A lot of people talk about Allegiant, and I've flown on Allegiant. I can't fit in the regular seats, so I have to move up and pay extra. And so by that time, it cost me the same as going on. Delta's got pretty good legroom too, but I use Google Flights. It's on the line. Go online. You go to Google Flights, get an idea of who's the cheapest by putting in your location. Then I go to the actual airline's website and I double check it. And sometimes I can find a better deal, vice versa, either way. Rental cars, I always check Costco Travel. I check the car price. I also go to rental car. There's a rental car app. You can check it through every single travel app that you use. But I like to go to Costco Travel, and then I look at that, and then I'll go back to the car website, Budget or Avis or whoever, and I'll check against Costco. And sometimes I get a better deal that way. And then you got to decide if you want to stay in a hotel or an Airbnb or a personal home or something. And I've done both, but I've started to narrow in on the VRBO app or the Airbnb app, and I choose a nice location based on reviews only.
Explain what that is, Eric.
You go into the app, you look up your location.
What is Airbnb?
Airbnb is a
VRBO.
house, or VRBO is vacation rental by owner, and they're both apps or websites, and people rent you their own homes, and they have cleaning crews that come in and clean them. And usually you have dishes and kitchens and everything set up the way you want them. And they have reviews of past people that have stayed there. And I only stay based on good reviews. If there's a bunch of bad ones based on the owner of the home or the way they're treated, I skip right over it. Doesn't matter what the price is. So,
can I say something?
Yeah.
Most of the places that we've done, VRBO or Airbnb, when you get to that location, the people also provided supplies like, for example, in Hawaii, there were boogie boards, there was snorkeling gear, there was some tubing gear. In Canada, there was some coolers to take food with you.
Sure.
There were some lawn chairs, things like that. In Canada,
we went to Canada, and we went into a grocery store and we stocked up our pantries with water and things like that we wanted, and then we could cook some of our meals at home, and we didn't have to spend so much eating out. Whereas in a hotel situation, you kind of are stuck that way. I use the Uber apps a lot for cars. I use the Lyft app a lot. This is called the U Economy, and there's a lot of people out there that have great reviews that do these things that are safe. You have to be cautious no matter when you travel.
Always. On the cruise lines, I recommend, especially if you're a first-time cruiser, especially going down to Mexico, book through the ship.
I was going to say
they
that
have
too.
to guarantee that you are back on that ship before it can leave, and they will keep you safe.
I love that. I see that in my cruise groups all the time. Someone will say, I'm a first-time cruiser. I'm headed down to Mexico. What do you suggest? Oh, don't ever book through the cruise line. You'll save money by booking off the boat. Okay, I've done that a lot of times, but I usually not till I've gone to that port at least once or twice, and I know my way around. And if you do book it through the cruise line, they make sure that they wait for you. They don't leave you. And if you're late or something happens, and I have been through some of these things, we were on a four-wheeler excursion, and a kid rolled his four-wheeler and got hurt really bad one time. And we were running up the pier to get to the boat. They had waited for us. But luckily, we had booked such a large group through the cruise line that they did not leave us. And they knew we were out there stranded. No cell phone service. We're out. I can't even remember where St. Martin, I think, is where we were. And it happens. It just happens. I got a flat tire in Curacao. and I had a hard time getting back to the boat. And we got stranded in Aruba when we did a sunset cruise because we couldn't get enough taxis to bring us all back. And this stuff happens. And so you want to make sure that the cruise line knows that you are out there. So,
well, and yes, you will pay more going through the cruise line.
a little bit.
But what is the price of safety?
That's true.
And, you know, what is the price of safety?
When you
in
go
some of
back
these
there
countries?
like the 5th time like us, then maybe you don't need to do that. We don't do it anymore very often because we know our way around and we know how to get taxis in some places. And Puerto Vallarta, I've gotten pretty comfortable getting around there. I'll take the taxis or the buses and I'm fine now. So that was kind of all the things. I know we did a long show today. People have asked us about large family vacations. It's all going to boil down to your budget and what you want to deal with. So, you know, my aunt likes to book a big cabin, a big ranch, and invite her whole family to come stay there. And they kind of are in the mountains and they're away from everything and they don't, you know, they bring their own food and they cook their own meals because that's what works best for her. So it's going to depend on what you want to spend, how many people you're taking. It was kind of hard to take 21 people on a cruise as a family. It was difficult.
It was good though.
It was fun and I loved
good.
it. It's really hard to take that many people. And so.
And if you're going to an area, research. Find some of the things to do in the areas. Find
I love
places to go. Know some things about the area so you can enjoy it a little bit more.
TripAdvisor app I use all the time, as well as Yelp. And everywhere I go, I'll jump on and find the top 5 restaurants or the top 5 attractions. And I'll go do them. I'll go say, hey, I want to see what number 1 ice cream shop. Let's go see
what is Yelp?
These are apps. When I say these names, you go to Google Yelp and you download.
Okay, and then what does it do?
Yelp is a place for consumers like me and you to leave your opinions of a business or a experience that is unbiased, and the companies have no say. So if somebody gives me a really bad experience at a restaurant and they don't care about me, they get a bad Yelp review. So that anybody else that uses Yelp or uses TripAdvisor goes there, gets to see what happened to me. And, you know, hopefully the owners either learn from it or try to correct it or whatever, because Yelp is a very, very powerful thing. So.
Okay, sorry. I
agree.
Some people don't know what you're talking about. I do, but
yes,
because I've asked you 50 times.
So anyway, that kind of touches on all that. Today is probably the last day for the bundle. I know I've posted this on social media. Many of you saw this. It's the CDs, the Christmas CD, the Ultimate CD, and the book. They're $35. Send me a personal message on either Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you hear this or see this. We are just these are just strictly out, not through the business, not through, we're not doing this through our website. And that way we're using like PayPal or Back to the U economy. We're using the Cash App or the Venmo app or any of those things that you feel comfortable paying with. I learned Facebook has a great tool inside their Messenger, Facebook Pay, and it has been flawless. So that works great. I do want to wish our very dear friend, Terry Laturco, a happy birthday today. She's usually here. I don't know if she is today.
She's out having her birthday breakfast.
Having her birthday. Bobby, I know Bobby's in the chat. I took a book over to her place. But Terry, happy birthday. I'm going to sing to you.
Wait. I want to say something.
Okay.
We're not quite done.
I'm not done.
We usually set up what we're going to talk about each week right before we leave.
You try.
And at 5 o'clock this morning, when I was taking care of my little grandchildren and the cat, not the grandchildren, they were great. The cat decided that she wanted out of her room. She has her own little room. Lily, she started shrieking, just screaming, and she hates me. She forgot I was there. I opened the door and she had a heart attack and hid behind the washing machine. But anyway, I was reading this morning the Reader's Digest. I love Reader's Digest, October. And there was an article in the very back called The Rule of Age 10. And it's kind of a theory, and it was in Psychology Today, that go back to when you were 10 years old and think about what you were passionate about and what you loved and what you thought you wanted to grow up to be.
That's so hard to do.
And they're finding that a lot of people, it's kind of like that's what they become. But a lot of people that are unhappy in their
Right.
jobs or their lives have not become that.
I've read books
Not
on this.
interesting?
I've read books on this, and a lot of times they tell you to ask somebody that knew you at that age, because a lot of people forget. One thing I suggest when I go to schools, and I would suggest this to you all right now, if you have children or kids, have them spend 10 minutes writing down on a piece of paper what they want to be, what their dreams are, what their goals are, what their favorite things are, what their favorite foods are. Just spend some time writing all that down. Fold it up in a little envelope and put it in a safe until they're older, and then give it back to them, because that's valuable. I've looked through all my journals, and I didn't write anything down back then. So
Well, and they say that it's like 10 or 11 when you're 17, but I can tell you exactly what you wanted to be when you were 10.
really,
An entertainer.
I never said that.
No, but everywhere we went, you had to talk to people and visit
Well, that's
with them
'cause I
and
have a
show them
big mouth,
stuff.
and I don't know how to not talk.
You wanted to be a salesperson. You wanted to sell stuff.
I do remember wanting to be a police officer
You did want to be a police officer
and
one
an
time.
international spy and a karate
Well, you
master
don't tell people that you're an international spy. They don't know that
and a fish
about you.
salesman
Salesman,
and popsicles.
salesman.
Suckers.
Salesman.
But they were cool things that I made myself.
You-
Oh, wait. Hey!
So I just thought about you a little bit. You loved animals,
Animals.
camping, fishing, outdoors.
Yeah,
There you are right now,
that's true.
your little 10-year-old self. But your biggest thing when you were 10 is you wanted to be the center of the universe of everybody you're
Oh,
with.
center of attention. Welcome to the Eric Dodge Show.
We would have family videos, and there you'd be sitting in the
I
background,
know.
pulling faces, and
Oh, I know.
So, Eric, I think that for
Maybe
you it's
I-
true. But what
maybe
I'm
I
going to
did.
challenge everybody: go on our page this week. Think about some of the things you loved to do when you were 10, 11.
Yep.
Some
And
of us, it's a longer thought.
Terry just joined us in the chat.
Oh, happy birthday!
It's
again,
Terry's birthday. And so what I'm going to do, if anybody has any direct questions about what we talked about today, I'm going to sing happy birthday to Terry. Type them in our chat.
Okay,
I'm
we
watching
didn't
the
get the
chat.
questions, but I'd like to ask them to put down in their Why Not Today on the page and stuff what they thought they wanted to be when they were 10.
That would be neat. So go to our page, our Instagram, wherever, comment on our latest post, and tell us what you wanted to be when you were 10. Tell us some stuff about you. We'd like to hear from you. Subscribe to our podcast, and you can find that on any platform. Check out our new artwork. You're going to love it. So go ahead and type in any questions you might have. I'll answer them as quickly as possible after I sing happy birthday to Terry, and then we will hit our outro. This has been a longer show than normal, and we could have went on for hours because there's so much to travel on. But make sure you ask all the questions and you decide to go where is best for you. All right, Terry, I hope you're having a wonderful birthday.
says,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Terry. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Wait. I think I got, wait. Oh, where is it? Happy birthday. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead. No questions. So thank you all for being here to the Why Not Today show. Have a wonderful day. And we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.
That scream.
I know. We will just see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Well, I know I can. The past is behind me. Tomorrow can't find me till I live today. Why not today? While my heart is ready. Today, while it's in my grasp. If I start out slowly, I'm confident.